Hello, Joey. Welcome to Metal KAOZ in Chicago. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having. Good to be
Getting
here.
ready for the upcoming tour with QUEENSRÿCHE?
Yes, we are. We're getting ready. It starts in, I don't know, 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, 13 days to be exact.
Oh,
So,
shoot.
um, oh, sorry for adding stress to you. First of all, this tour starts March 27th. Do you know if the band will be adding any dates before that or close to that day?
Not before, no. It starts on the 27th here in Anaheim at the House of Blues. Always a fun place to play. So, we have a lot of fans in Orange County, and Anaheim area. So, we're really looking forward to that. And then, yeah, no shows before that. That's the first date. We are having rehearsals a few days before that, but that's about it.
Okay. I didn't see Chicago or the Chicago area in your schedule.
Yeah, unfortunately not. And I was disappointed in that because I love playing Chicago. It's always a great time playing Chicago or the area around there. Um, yeah, I think the closest thing is Peoria. Is that right?
Peoria and I think
Yeah.
Rockford. Well, it depends on how you understand close.
Yeah, I mean, those are suburbs, like, but an hour outside, right?
Yeah, more than an hour.
More than an hour, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, it's not wasn't something we didn't schedule it, it's the Queensryche routing that they wanted to do, so we'll just be glad to be there.
I will blame them then. Don't worry.
No, no, I don't mean to throw them under the bus, but
Come on,
it's
I'm
all their
joking.
fault. What were they thinking?
So, you said you are rehearsing anything. Do you have anything special for this touring cycle? Anything you're putting more gravitas, maybe?
Well, we still feel like we're touring on our last record, which is Punching the Sky. It came out in 2020, and we've done one tour since then, the one with Wasp in 21. But so we still feel like we want to play songs from our new record, as it were. So we're pulling out another few songs that we haven't played before, so from that record. So that's going to be cool and exciting for us because we're excited for that record still. We want to play that stuff live. And then along the way on this tour, we're also doing several headline shows
Correct.
because there was a lot of days off that we wanted to fill. So we took shows in certain cities and we're playing headline dates. And so for those shows, again, pulling out some songs, deeper cuts from the catalog that we're not playing during the Queensryche set, because we get to play a lot longer, obviously. So we have a lot of deep cuts, some things we haven't played in a long time. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Now that you mentioned duration, how much time will you have during the tour with QUEENSRÿCHE?
You mean on stage time?
Yes.
I think our set is 45 minutes on
Okay.
Queensryche.
Okay.
And then when we headline, it's going to be more like an hour 20. Yeah.
And the reason why I asked for the set list was because uh, we have March of the Saint, right? Getting 14 years old,
Yeah.
but we haven't.
Yeah.
We are still young. Just the album is getting older.
Yes, it is. Well, I'm getting old.
No, man, you don't. Oh. So
Yeah,
I
and it's
was, I
pretty.
was trying to see. Oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no. It's amazing. It's funny because up until recently, I almost didn't realize it. Like, I should have done the math. It's not that hard of math to do, but I didn't realize it. Like, oh my, you're right. It's 40 years. And so I'm getting questions about March of the Saint now, and I hadn't thought about that record in a long time. But
But you're not the only one, because for whatever the reason, when we have music that has been tied to our being younger or a teenager, then we kind of freeze that time and therefore the album never gets old. The band itself, in our minds, I'm talking about from the fans' perspective, never gets old. So you expect, and there is a downside to that. We expect the band to sound and be exactly like it did in the 80s. So it's anyhow. So how is that? Are there any plans to celebrate that occasion, the 40 years?
You know, someone else asked me that the other day, and I honestly hadn't thought about it, but maybe we should somehow. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure about that. We should do something though. I agree with you, and I also understand, you know, that people from back then, way back when that was maybe the first record they heard from us. You know, they hear the record and they just think we're still those 21-year-old guys that put that record out, but we're not. But you know, someone just asked me a little while ago if we approach the songs differently now that we're 40 years older and we're still playing March of the Saint live and Can You Deliver live and Madhouse, you know, do we approach it differently now? And so my answer was yeah, because you know, to me, when I look at that record and that time, those songs, we wrote those songs when we were all 19 years old, so super young, and you know, the songwriting sounds a bit, you know, juvenile to me, but of course it was. We were 19, and I think we've become better songwriters and more interesting songwriters as time went on, but so, you know, I try to approach it with a new outlook, you know, older and try to put some more energy into it, you know, that, you know, maybe it doesn't have on the record. Um, and you know, try to look at it from another perspective like that.
It's tough. And sometimes I think, you know, bands are getting asked, will you play the entire album live? On one hand, it's good because there are people out there, Armored Saint fans, who have never heard of them, of these songs live because they are too young. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, you have a live band. By live, I mean you guys are writing music, and in fact, you are working on a new album. So should I, quote unquote, waste a tour playing an old album, or should I let the band present the new material? I haven't decided. So what's your take on that?
Well, you know, I think it's fun. We did that with Symbol of Salvation. It's like the only time we've ever done that. And and it really was fun doing that because it um it changed the way you viewed all the songs, and especially playing it in order of the record, and it sort of gave new life to these songs that you never thought they had before. And it was a really unusual thing to discover. I never thought that I would see it that way. I just thought, like, you know, this is the sequence of the record, and here we go. And but you would see in the crowd's response. Um, a good example is the song "Burning Question" from Symbol of Salvation. It was a song that we never really played live at all, except for maybe when the record first came out a few times in 91, 92, but haven't never played it since then. And so when we get to that part of the record and that song, played that song, it was weird because the crowd's singing along, they're singing all the words, and we were like, wow, I mean, just such a deep cut. Even we didn't know that so many people liked the song that much. So that was a pretty big eye-opening thing. And I think the same would be true even if we went out and played March of the Saint in its entirety, you know, probably be surprised in the same way, you know. The only thing that we're kind of doing a little different, um, I think we're going to do it on this tour, is we're putting March of the Saint and um, the song Madhouse in a different place
Hmm.
in the set, in the sequence. We always opened with it or we always closed with it. And so we're trying to place it in different spots during the set. And by doing that alone, has a completely different energy, which was another interesting thing. Like, God, it feels weird playing this, in the middle of the set, but hey, it's another song. It doesn't have to be first or last. So, well, it's interesting. But, you bring up a good point. I don't know. We might maybe I'll think about that.
Well,
Playing some other songs.
although your point of view kind of helped me out to think how the band itself thinks and how you approach, because as you said, you were younger then, and of course you are a different musician. I mean, I'm not the same person when I was buying the first Armored Saint album. How can I expect you to be the same person?
Yeah.
Come on. Not on AIDS though. I'm not talking about AIDS. Come on, Leon. Okay. So let's if you are okay with it, let's talk about what is the status of the upcoming album. So where is the band on that side?
We did start writing new music and we're about, I don't know, 6 or 7 songs into the process at this point. And it's going well. It's tough to find time
Mhm.
to do it because everybody's got their lives. Some of us have jobs, and some of us, we have kids, and school, and it's very busy, obviously, with
Yep.
just general life. Try to fit that into, excuse me, fit that into songwriting is sometimes very difficult. But we're doing it. So we've got about 6 or 7 songs done, and obviously going on tour, it's gonna put on hold probably. We'll try to do some writing on the road, but it's never very, excuse me, it's never been very good for us to write on the road. There's just not a lot of time,
Mhm.
and so yeah, it's going great. The songs are great so far. Everybody's contributing music, and our goal is the same as it's always been, and that's just write great songs. Like, don't care about anything else really. Just write great music with great songs, showcase John Bush, and yeah, that's really the goal. So it's going well. We're hoping to have, with any luck, try to get something out in mid or late 2025.
Okay, that was my follow-up question to see when Armored Saint will go on tour again with a new album. So
Yeah,
I got my answer. Did you by
yeah,
any chance record a cover song?
we did. Um, you've done
I
some homework.
No, I think John Bush spilled the beans on that already.
He did. Yeah, I don't know, we just did this thing for fun and we were kind of keeping it under wraps
Hmm.
because it's not like we just did it for fun really.
Right.
And we decided to record this cover song by one of our favorite bands called the Four Tops. It's an R&B group from the 70s, and they recorded this song. And I was one of my favorite songs of all time, and I thought John would do a great job. And we just did this rock metal Armored Saint version of it, and it's totally slamming. It's awesome, and John totally nailed it. It sounds great. Everybody played great on it, and we decided to put it out as a single. We've never done a single before.
Mhm.
We've always written 10 songs, record 10 songs, release an album. And we've never just recorded a song and put it out. So all the kids are doing it, I hear. So, it's big on Apple Music and, yeah, let's do it. All the kids are doing it. So, um, yeah. So we decided why not? Metal Blade was into it, so it's coming out on Metal Blade. It's going to be available digital only, and
Come on.
I think it's coming out in June. For
Hmm.
now, digital only. Maybe I don't know.
7 inch?
Maybe
Come.
I love 7 inches. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
I'm a big
Yes.
vinyl guy. I'm sitting in front of my vinyl collection right here.
Trust me, I have eyes, laser eyes.
Yeah, so I got the vinyl behind me, my turntable's over there. I love vinyl. And so I would love to put out a 7-inch and I think something like this would be perfect for a 7-inch.
Absolutely.
But for now, we're just gonna do it as digital only. And maybe we can talk them into doing something for when we go on the road. It would be a cool thing to have available only on tour, maybe like get it at the merch booth kind of thing. I don't know.
The,
We'll see.
the economics of that, I mean, how you will sold out all the 7 inches in the couple of shows, and then the rest of us will be just, anyway.
Sad. I
No,
know.
don't do that, please.
Terrible idea. Terrible idea.
But I love that John spilled the beans because it means that he was excited for that.
Super excited.
And that tells me something about the energy in Armored Saint, that you guys are really looking forward to go in the studio and record.
I think the best thing about, well, look, of course, the best thing about being in the band is making music and performing that music. So anytime we get a chance to do those things, we get super stoked, and this is why we're here,
Right.
So yeah, anytime we do something like this, it's fun and we love it. It was a great time making the single. It kind of came up. I mean, it came up sort of last minute in a way because it was, I don't know, just that we made this demo and I just said we should record this. Like, let's just put this out as a single. Everyone was like, really? We've never done that. How do we forget it? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So, Metal Blade was kind enough to give us a small budget to do it, and we went in and we did it. And it was kind of quick. We recorded the bass and drums live in the same room at the same time. We haven't done that forever. And so it just has this energy about it that's really, really fun and cool. And try not to take it too serious. It's not this big opus. It's just a song, and it sounds, it has tons of conviction. It's from our hearts. We're enjoying it. We're not trying to reinvent any wheel or anything like that. And we also shot a video for it, and the video is going to be really fun and cool. And yeah, it's just it's why not? It's fun.
Of course.
If it's not fun, like why are we doing this?
Although, if we were during the 80s and we had this discussion about Armored Saint covering Four Tops, oh man.
Well, a different time,
Of course.
And yeah, different time and different, different situations. And yeah,
it's
it
very
might be more
interesting
like
how we have changed how we understand music. And again, I'm a fan. I'm not a musician, but I have changed. I have accepted, quote unquote, other styles. And yeah, why not? As you said.
why not? It's all good. It's all fun.
Any plans to re-release La Raza and Revelations? I think they are sold out, especially on vinyl.
It's interesting you say that. Let me get my facts straight. I actually don't have all the facts on that, but I am in discussions with the label to reissue those because you're correct. Those are, I believe they're not available any longer.
Not even in CD, I think.
Yeah, on vinyl. So not even CD, huh?
I think they are sold out even in CD, but that's bizarre to me, to be honest.
Yeah, so but that was something that was brought to my attention within the last 4 months or so.
Okay.
So yeah, we're actually trying to work on that for later in summer, actually.
Okay, good. I am
But
happy.
I don't have anything, and that's not official, but trying to have something, trying to get those reissued before the end of the year.
As long as there are plans to reissue them, that's fine. I was about to say that I have both of them, but I'm not the only one in the world. I am not. I have a couple of questions. I know that you are you have a busy schedule. Do you have anything else working outside Armored Saint, music related, of course?
Well, I just finished a record with Jim Matheos from Fate's Warning. He has a band. Uh, Maybe everybody knows this already, but Kings of Mercia,
Mm-hmm.
and they made one record already with Metal Blade, and I played on that, played bass on that as well. And Jim asked me to play on the new record, which I did. And I just finished my tracks a few months ago, but
Okay.
so that record is coming out I think soon, like in the next couple, maybe a month or two. I'm not exactly sure when that's scheduled for release, but new Kings of Mercia record, and I play on the record, and it's a great record. It's for people who don't know about it. It's uh, it's Jim writing with Steve from FM,
Mm-hmm.
UK band FM, and they've written some great songs. It's much more sort of straight ahead, for lack of a better description. I don't like to over describe things too much, but it's more based in hard rock than it is prog. So the songs are relatively straightforward, simple, great
Catchy,
melodies.
right? Right.
Yeah, catchy tunes, great melodies. Jim plays some great guitar on it. People don't really know how great a lead guitar player he is, but he did such a great job on this record. So it's killer. So I'm super honored to be playing on it again. And also the drummer, also for the second time, is Simon Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's another huge honor playing on a record with Simon Phillips. He's one of my all-time heroes, and so he's also a great guy. I got to meet him last year. I was like, wow, he's just so cool and down to earth, and he makes great espressos.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, and yeah, so that's a cool thing coming out. And then also, I'm in talks with, I play in another group called Motor Sister
Correct.
with Scott Ian, John Tempesta, Perla Day, and Jim Wilson. And we've been trying to get something going with the five of us, the four of us, four, five, I'm losing count.
5, I think.
I'm, I'm getting over an illness. Yes, excuse me. Um, and We have been wanting to do another project just for fun, and so we were talking about doing a covers record. So um, it's just like getting everybody's schedule like to line up is like the
Yeah,
hardest thing.
of course. Of course.
So we loosely have set aside some time in early summer.
Okay.
So hopefully that comes to fruition and we can actually get something done. And yeah, and again, it's another group that's just a bunch of friends and we do it for fun and when we can make the schedules work, you know. So it's really cool.
Last question. Have you ever considered writing the story of Armored Saint? I know there is a documentary, but the way I read this is that the band was not 100% involved in the making of it. So, do you have you ever thought of putting a book out?
You mean as us as a band?
Correct. To tell the
Um,
story of Armored Saint.
Not really. I mean, there was at one point there was a journalist friend of ours who his name's John Sutherland, and he was attempting to do it. He's been friends with the bands forever, and we've been friends with him for a long time. And we loosely started it, but it just not never got off the ground.
Mhm.
It's a it's a it's a very hard thing to do. You know, it's a lot of work. So I don't blame him for not following through with it. It just kind of petered out, and I think he wanted it more involvement from us personally, and it was hard to get us to all
Of course.
collectively
Yeah.
be involved. I mean, it's more likely you might hear one of us, you know, penning our own story or our own vision of the book. But
And that's
it
also interesting, to be honest.
yeah, but I don't know that it would be a collective thing. Would be this would never happen. It's hard enough herding us cats into one room to make a decision about, you know, what we're having for dinner that night, you know, let alone writing a book or history of our span. It
Yeah.
would take eons. It would
Although
never
it does sound strange asking a band who is active to write the book. But on the other hand, to me, it's part of history. It's something that we can have for the younger generations to see how things, at least the musician's perspective of it.
Yeah, well, that's not out of the question. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been asked I've been asked myself if I would ever write a book, and I you know, I've thought about it, and I think about it sometimes, and it would be my perspective on, you know, I mean, Armored Saint's a large part of my his life and history, but
Yes.
it's not the only thing either. I have a lot of experiences outside of Armored Saint that, you know, people might find interesting and I get asked about. So um, that's a possibility for me, and I'm sure that each one of the guys would say the same thing. You know, you know, it'd be a funny thing actually if each guy wrote their own book,
Right, right.
and then, you know, they all come out at the same time, and so like, you know, we're all comparing notes. You know, like,
Did
hey,
we
wait a
do
minute,
that?
yeah, I don't think that actually happened that way. Oh yeah, it did. That's what I remember. No, that's not really how it happened. You know,
This sounds
but
so fun, man. This sounds so fun. I think we made a rough draft for the books
yeah,
for the book for everyone.
yeah.
Okay, good.
There you go.
I will call
There you
you in the
go.
2 years. I will expect this to be your first draft.
Okay. All right. There you
Joey,
go.
thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful time in both
Thank
sides
you.
of the Atlantic with Armored Saint,
Thank you.
and looking forward to see the band live in Chicago with a new album.
Hope so. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.